Hey everyone, so I'm going to do a video on linear regression. So linear regression is basically a line of best fit. You're going to create a scatter plot and try to find that line of best fit that fits the data values in the scatter plot. And the one thing to remember about linear regression, it's a prediction. It's a prediction line. So if you ever think of regression, you should think of the word predict, because we're going to use the regression line to predict what could happen inside the values and outside the values. What I mean by inside is like inside the values that I already have, the temperatures here, and outside the temperatures. Inside would be interpolating and outside would be extrapolating. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is enter this into my list. And what you do on your calculator is you're going to hit stat and edit. And you're going to enter your data into list 1 and list 2. In this case, we have temperature and number of cans sold. So in this problem, basically, a manufacturer is thinking that the hotter the temperature, the more cans of soda we're going to sell because people want to drink something cold. So list 1 is going to be my X and list 2 will be my Y, and that is normally what you want. You want the list 1 to be your input, so X, and the list 2 to be your output. So again, I'm going to go to stat, edit, enter everything into list 1 and list 2. Now, if you're going to do this with me, you should pause the video and do that. Alright, so if you've done that, the next part of this question, or the first part of my question, is create a scatter plot of the data. So after you have entered your data into list 1 and list 2, what I want you to do is go to y equals. If you go to y equals, you'll see at the top plot 1. You want to turn that on. And if you go up with your arrow and you press enter and then go down with your arrow, it should be highlighted. If it's highlighted, your scatter plot is on. To see your scatter plot, you're going to want to press zoom and then 9. That's zoom stat. And it should give you a scatter plot. And the scatter plot that I saw was something along the lines of this. And again, it's just a sketch. And you can kind of see how the linear relationship is going on here. You can see that it's going towards this direction here in a positive linear fashion. All right, the next question says, determine the linear regression of the data. To do that, what you're going to do is you're going to go to stat again, you're going to go to calc, and you're going to choose number 4, which is lin reg. And once you do that, first off, make sure it says L1 and L2. You're going to press calculate. And when you calculate it, you'll see y equals ax plus b and a bunch of information. And we're going to plug in for a and b to get our linear regression equation. Again, this is our prediction equation. All right, so when I did that, I got 16.416x, I round to the nearest thousandths, minus 621.826. And this is my regression equation. It will help me predict values inside the data and outside the data. Inside the data that we already have, so my x-axis for this thing is the temperature, and my y-axis is the number of cans sold. Okay, so I'm going to be able to interpolate, which means predict inside the dots that I already have, and I will be able to extrapolate, which means I can predict outside, so temperatures that are over here, or negative temperatures even. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my equation to predict the number of cans sold on a day that is 95 degrees. 95 degrees is an x value because it's the temperature. I want to find my y value, so I'm going to plug in an x for here. So I will end up plugging in, or substituting is a better word, 95 into here, and end up getting 937.694 cans. Now I'm going to round because, you can't have a decimal of a can, and it really depends on the problem, but I'm going to stay at 937 just because I don't have a full can to make 938, so I'm going to say about 937 cans on a 95 degree day. This was an example of extrapolating because I extrapolated, meaning I predicted outside of the given temperatures. I only went up to 84, so 95 is outside. That's extrapolating. The correlation coefficient, and what does it tell me about my data? To get my correlation coefficient, you would have to go to stat, calc, and do lin reg again, which is choice 4, and you'll see an R value. I rounded to 3 decimal places, 967. This is the correlation coefficient. The correlation coefficient tells us how strongly related the input and the output, the x and y values are, the two variables of your data. And in this case, it tells me there's a strong positive relationship between the number of cans sold and the temperature, meaning that the higher the temperature goes, the more cans of soda you will sell. I hope this video helped you guys. I'll see you soon.